Good morning. I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and I'm on lockdown on my quest for England. And today I'm in Worthing, where I live in West Sussex, down by the seaside. I'm not down by the seaside, I'm actually quite close to my house, and just in front of me is the Castle Ale House. It used to be the Castle Tavern. I believe a meeting place in the, I guess the 20th century, where the Bonfire Boys used to meet. A gang, I think they were, of people who caused all sorts of mischief. I need to find out more Worthing history. I don't really know that much Worthing history, which is the irony of being stuck in Worthing, where I live, and not really knowing that much about the town itself, when this is really the only place I can get to make my daily films. But anyway, today's video, here by the side of Morrison's, the supermarket, is about alleyways, tunnels and Twittens. And behind the pub here is an alleyway that goes at the back of my house, and then there's another alleyway, and I thought I'd just walk down these alleyways and tell you what I do know, which is little. Apart from the sun blinding me this morning, this is a little road that is sort of pretty much no man's land, and it runs, as I say, behind the supermarket and then between a terrace of houses here. And I live in one of these houses. In fact, my car is just coming up. And there it is. And let me just say, one of the reasons I'm doing this video is yesterday I was on my bike and I was holding the camera and all of that. And yes, I know, should wear a helmet and all of this. And I pulled a muscle in my back because it was in the morning and I leapt on my bike. Not a good idea. And so I'm in a little bit of pain and I can't walk very far, which is why I'm just literally walking around the block around where I live. So this is a bit of a desperate video, but interestingly, even though we now see it like this, there used to be railway sidings here. The railway is just beyond, and there used to be railway sidings here and some cottages along here. And I had a chap knock on my door about 15 years ago now. I've been in my house for 30 years, and this chap knocked on my door and he was trying to get to the person who lived next door to me, but there was nobody in. And he said, "Oh, you don't know where he is?" I said, "No, no idea." I said, why do you want him?" He said, "Oh, I just wanted to look in the house. I used to live there." I said, "Oh, okay." He said, and the thing was, and he told me all about the area, and he was quite elderly. And he said, you know, there were horses and there were stables up here and some cottages. And he was telling me about the whole area, which I've only ever known it like this, apart from the supermarket that was the Co-op and smaller. So down this back alley, yeah, back in the day, some 80 odd years ago, were stables and horses and that sort of thing, which is lovely to think about, really. Here's an old warehouse, which is for sale, 200,000 if you've got it. And painted on the side is this character who I mentioned in another video when I was on my bike, Horace. This one has decayed a little bit, although I think it was pretty much like that when it first came out. So you've got Morrison's just over there, and then the railway line there. And the other side of the railway line used to be Market Gardens. That was one of the exports that Worthing gave to the larger towns like London and other places. They would grow all the crops in greenhouses and open air, which always used to make me laugh, because in those days there were steam trains, and the steam trains of course produce copious amounts of soot, and you can't help feeling that some of the flowers and the vegetables were going to be covered in horrible lumps of black. So I'm walking down this alleyway here. I once made a film, it was a children's television pilot I made to try and get a children's programme on the television. I'd already had one kids programme which is called Snug and Cozy. I'll leave the link in the description. But I was pitching other ideas, and I made a video called The Dimwits. And there's a scene in The Dimwits where we take this double bed, which we're on, me and my friend Nigel, and it's supposedly out of control, running down a hill, and it goes through the town. And through here we set up whole loads of bins, washing lines going across, all that sort of thing. And we had this bed that was supposedly trundling out of control down this alleyway. But it's a beautiful alleyway with very peculiar properties, you know, bits of corrugated iron, weird workshops, a mishmash of building styles. This is the side of a pub called the Globe. It's not the Globe now. The Globe has well and truly gone, sadly. It disappeared about 10 years ago, I would say, and it is now flats. But when I first came here, it was open as a pub, so you could go into the Globe. I don't think I've never really been much of a local pub goer, so I never went into that. I went into the Castle Tavern a couple of times, but I've never been that sort of a person. But it's sad to see when pubs are shut. And the thing about this pub, as you can see, it's on the corner there. And when this whole area of terraced houses were built, the pubs would have been built first. And I mentioned this in another video that I did. The pubs would have been built first on the corners, and then the rows of terraces would have come along from that. And it gave the chippies and the carpenters and all the roofers and everybody else something to go to and have a pint. And then you've got buildings like this on corners with the doorway in a very strange place. Well, I can't say for certain, but I'm pretty confident that would have been a corner shop, which is now a residence. This is the tunnel I wanted to take you down. And this goes underneath the railway, but it's an old footpath, I believe. And as you can see, it's got a lot of paintings on the walls. I filmed down here before when I was pitching another pilot episode of something called, I'll leave the descriptions to these videos. As I say, this was called Oddball Eccentrics. And I was making a video about different oddballs from history who were very eccentric in the things they did. It never went anywhere in terms of a pitch, but people were impressed at the time. So, and it's been extended, I believe, that this was the first bit, and you can tell that because of this round entrance. And then as the railways became more bigger, I suppose, or the sidings, whatever, they've made it longer. So this was originally, I guess, over the original track that was laid in the 1860s, I think. And it's a nice little tunnel with the arch. And then as you get a little bit more modern, they don't bother with all the finesses, do they? They just shove the girders over the top, which is a bit of a shame. Up there is a little light, and I think that is, oh no, I was going to say I think that's in the car park, but you know when your brain goes a bit funny? Yeah, my brain went a bit funny. And that's not unusual. The great thing about YouTube and Facebook and doing these videos on social media is that people know stuff, and they'll get in touch and let me know what I've inadvertently got wrong. But these are little foresters' cottages which are attached to I think it's a chapel, some form of chapel. The foresters, it's no longer that now, and for a long time, where am I going? I'm going back, I'm going the wrong way. But I just wanted to show you the foresters. Yeah, for a long time, again, that was up for sale some years ago. Past Anchor House, which I don't know the history of that, but this is one of those lovely little back alleys. We call them Twittens in Worthing, and I think all in Sussex. And I have walked up these sort of places before, but they're always worth going up again because they're just so fascinating. And as I would have mentioned before, oh look, little bits of nature on the walls, a bit of lichen or lichen, and the gates, lovely old gates. These were obviously once open footpaths, and then in the Victorian times they built these Twittens. They built the houses and put the walls up, and some of the walls here you've got brick, as you can see, and others have been rendered off with pebbles, and they are very delightful. I do love these alleyways with the brick floor or ground, and a little bit of greenery and the odd light at night. Certainly wouldn't want to come down here in pitch black wondering who's hiding behind. Well, there's nowhere to hide, but just standing, you know, in the slight recess or whatever. And there is a story of a smuggler who was chased by the police. I think his name was William Cowper, and he was chased by the, I say by the police, by the Coast Guards, and he was shot somewhere on this route. And there's a gentleman who has been in touch with me who wants to walk with me. I think his name's James, and he wants to walk with me and follow the route and then go to Broadwater Church, where I walked in the other day, to find his grave, which I hope to do at some point after this crisis is all over. Coming out of this Twitten, which carries on, and I won't bother to do that because we're running out of time on this video, but here is the Sydney Water Centre where I go and vote. But I've also hired a room in there and made a video, which is not online, unfortunately, an old Super 8 video. But this, the Sydney Water Centre, was a school. And there's a little bit of info here. Sussex Road School. This building was originally founded in 1902 as the Sussex Road Boys' School. And if anybody watching this remembers, there used to be another building opposite this, just on the other side. There's the playground area, and then there was another building which has been since knocked down, and I don't know what that was used for. If somebody knows, do tell me. Anyway, I need to go and rest my back now, although I've got to keep it moving. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will continue and try and make more videos. Thank you for all your lovely comments. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, that always helps. And become a patron if you can. This is the only way I can make a living, and in lockdown it's even more desperate than normal. Anyway, take care and see you on the next one. Bye bye.